In this podcast episode, the host welcomes Dr. Nathan Bryan, a leading expert in nitric oxide research, to discuss the critical role of nitric oxide in health, particularly in relation to visceral fat, inflammation, and chronic disease. The conversation delves into various lifestyle factors and dietary choices that can either enhance or inhibit nitric oxide production, ultimately affecting overall health. Dr. Bryan emphasizes that nitric oxide is often referred to as the miracle molecule due to its extensive influence on numerous bodily functions. It plays a vital role in regulating blood pressure, enhancing sexual function, supporting cognitive abilities, and controlling inflammation and oxidative stress. The loss of nitric oxide production is linked to the onset and progression of age-related chronic diseases, including cardiovascular issues, diabetes, and neurodegenerative disorders like Alzheimer's. The discussion begins with alcohol consumption, where Dr. Bryan explains that moderate alcohol intake can have some protective cardiovascular benefits due to a phenomenon known as ethanol preconditioning. This process enhances the activity of an enzyme responsible for prolonging nitric oxide's effects. However, excessive alcohol consumption leads to liver damage, inflammation, and oxidative stress, ultimately impairing nitric oxide production. Dr. Bryan ranks moderate alcohol consumption as a D on a tier ranking system, indicating that while it is not the worst choice, it is far from beneficial. Dr. Bryan categorizes smoking as one of the most detrimental habits for health, placing it at the bottom of the tier ranking system. He explains that while cigarette smoke contains some nitric oxide, the overwhelming presence of toxic substances far outweighs any potential benefits. The conversation highlights the need for individuals to recognize the severe health risks associated with smoking, including its direct impact on nitric oxide production and overall cardiovascular health. The podcast also addresses the contentious topic of seed oils. Dr. Bryan firmly believes that seed oils are harmful due to their inflammatory properties and potential to disrupt cellular function. He argues that the long half-life of these oils in the body can lead to chronic health issues, including insulin resistance and metabolic disease. He ranks seed oils as an F, indicating their detrimental effects on health. Ultra-processed foods are another significant concern discussed in the episode. Dr. Bryan explains that these foods often lack nutritional value and contain preservatives that can disrupt normal cell biology. He ranks ultra-processed foods as a D, emphasizing that while they are not the worst option, they contribute to poor health outcomes and should be minimized in the diet. The conversation shifts to the importance of sleep and stress management. Dr. Bryan highlights that poor sleep quality can lead to decreased nitric oxide production and increased inflammation, ranking it as an F for overall health. Stress, particularly chronic stress, is also discussed as a significant factor that can impair nitric oxide signaling and contribute to various health issues. Dr. Bryan encourages listeners to adopt stress management techniques and prioritize sleep for better health outcomes. Dr. Bryan emphasizes the importance of regular physical activity in promoting nitric oxide production. Exercise stimulates the production of nitric oxide, which is crucial for maintaining vascular health. He encourages listeners to incorporate movement into their daily routines, as a sedentary lifestyle can lead to numerous health problems, including increased visceral fat and inflammation. The discussion then turns to dietary choices that can enhance nitric oxide production. Dr. Bryan highlights the importance of consuming nitrate-rich foods, such as leafy greens and root vegetables, which can be converted into nitrite and then into nitric oxide in the body. He also discusses the significance of hydration, as proper hydration supports cellular function and detoxification processes. Dr. Bryan warns against the chronic use of certain medications, particularly proton pump inhibitors, PPIs, and non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, NSAIDs, which can impair nitric oxide production and lead to adverse health effects. He stresses the importance of addressing the root causes of inflammation and health issues rather than relying solely on medication. A significant portion of the conversation focuses on the oral microbiome and its impact on nitric oxide production. Dr. Bryan explains that the bacteria in the mouth play a crucial role in converting dietary nitrates into nitrites, which are essential for nitric oxide synthesis. He cautions against the use of antiseptic mouthwash, which can disrupt the oral microbiome and negatively affect nitric oxide levels.